Welcome, everyone. It's good to see everyone here again. You know, last year we stood here and we had just won a court case, and we said that we would get concealed carry. We said that it would be a statewide concealed carry, and that we said it would be a shall issue concealed carry, and we've gotten all of those things. Okay, so I'm glad for that. Now, there are many here that would look at us and say, you know, those people got concealed carry. Now maybe they'll just go away. Well, guess what? We're not going away. Okay? One of the phrases that we hear a lot these days is we won the war but lost the peace. In the gun rights battle, the fact is that there is no peace. The war just changes form. And so this war is going to go on forever and ever and ever, and we're going to be part of it, and we're going to keep being victorious. People who fail to realize that the war changes form are the ones who wind up losing the peace, and we will not do that. The war is now going to switch to ways to dismantle concealed carry. It's going to switch to ways to inhibit our firearms rights in various ways, like gun bans, ammo taxes, licensing. We're seeing all these things in the legislature this year. These are all test cases. They'll push them if they can, but this is what they have planned for us. They want to make Illinois into another Connecticut, and we're not going to let that happen. So we must always be on the move and on the push to be organized, to be joined together, and to make sure that our Second Amendment rights are safe and that the next generation's Second Amendment rights are safe. So this has been our struggle for a long time, and so we're going to do that. I have to fill in for Don Moran, who is trapped in Chicago, the president, but our struggle started back about 2005 when we changed tactics. As you know, we went from just trying to do things legislatively. We went into the court system, and our members said, go into the court system. We said, it's going to cost a ton of money. They said, go into the court system. It cost a ton of money. But anyway, we have now won 10 court cases in a row against the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. We have more to go. Right now, I can't remember. I think we got 4 or 5 more cases working. So we're challenging the assault weapons bans. We're actually looking into the registration schemes in various cities around the state that have not abandoned theirs. We're going to go on, and we're going to pick them off one at a time, and we're going to make them wish they give up their registration scheme. We're going to make them wish they had. Simple as that. So the courts have been on our side, but we also know that we're only one election away from them not being on our side. And so the election cycle, which is every 2 years, and if you sit in my seat, it seems like it's every 2 days, has to go on. And we're going to be talking about that today. And I'm going to, our next speaker is Senator Dale Ryder, and I'll let Mike introduce him, but I want you to know that this is going to go on, and it's going to be expensive. And sometime today, you'll see those familiar red buckets coming around. That's what helps pay for court cases. And I get to see the bills, and I didn't know there were that many zeros in the world, but there are. Anyway, so anything you can do to help us, and thank you for being here. And I am privileged to be the executive director of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Thank you.
This next gentleman has been a state senator since 2003 after serving in the Illinois House of Representatives for the preceding 6 years. He serves as Republican spokesman for the Senate Criminal Law Committee and serves as member of the Senate Executive Assignments, Judiciary, Energy, and Appropriations Committees. He's always been a strong supporter of our Second Amendment rights. I'm very proud to introduce the Honorable Dale Ryder.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Springfield. Welcome to the center of state government. Welcome to the place that's most effective for you to lobby to protect and advocate for our collective Second Amendment rights. Thank you for being here. My name's Dale Ryder. I'm a state senator from East Central Illinois. I represent all or parts of 14 counties in East Central and Southeastern Illinois. And I have a 100% voting record with the National Rifle Association and the Illinois State Rifle Association. Now, no applause, because I get paid to do that. I get paid to uphold your constitutional rights. The first thank you goes to you, because you're not getting paid to do this. You're coming here because you care about the Constitution, you care about your Second Amendment rights, and you care about your children's and your grandchildren's. So thank you for doing that. I have one simple message for everyone in this room today, and it's this, is that the single most dangerous threat to our collective Second Amendment rights and the hard-fought win to adopt concealed carry in this state works on the second floor of the Illinois State Capitol, and his name is Pat Quinn. We are richly blessed to live in a state, in a country, where every 2 years we are given the opportunity to fundamentally change the course of our government. And we have another opportunity coming up this November. If you care about the elderly lady who lives by herself, if you care about her ability to defend herself, then Pat Quinn has to go. If you care at all about the man, the husband and the father who lives with his family in a rural area where maybe it takes law enforcement officers 10, 15, 20 minutes to respond to a 911 call, if you care at all about his ability to defend himself and his wife and his children and his property, Pat Quinn has to go. And if you care at all about the single mother who lives in Chicago, the governor's hometown, who lives in a crime-ravaged area where she has no faith whatsoever what might be coming through the front door next. She has no faith whatsoever whether or not law enforcement could get there in time to protect her or protect her children. If you care at all about her ability to protect herself and protect her kids, Pat Quinn has to go. In November, there is one choice, and there is one election that matters more than any else, and that is our collective opportunity to make sure that the hard-fought wins that have occurred here in this state capitol in the last year are preserved. Do that for your children and your grandchildren and yourselves and our Constitution by making sure that Pat Quinn goes home on Election Day in November. Thank you all very much. Enjoy your day.
This next gentleman is the current Illinois State Treasurer. He was elected to the Illinois Senate and the Illinois House of Representatives, where he served as Assistant Republican Leader in both chambers. He was past head of international business for the Illinois Department of Commerce. I'm proud to introduce Illinois State Treasurer and gubernatorial candidate, the Honorable Dan Rutherford.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, how many of you have been in this room before? All right. How many of you have been in this room when I've been in the room with you before? There you go. I look back on this, Rich. I look back, and I know 1992 was the first gathering, and this is the 8th year that you've done the rally for iGold. I am proud to tell you this is the 8th year in a row I've been with you here at the Prairie Capital Convention Center. I've been a state senator. I remember when I became your state treasurer, I was the only constitutional officer that came here to encourage you, to talk to you, and to thank you for what you're doing standing up for our constitutional rights. All right, where I've done this every year and I want to do it again. Where are those of you that are from Chicago and Cook County? Raise your hands. We want to thank you. You are so great. Thank them. Now, from those of us that are from Livingston County and Fayette County and Hancock County, we don't quite have the same as those in Cook County. And we don't have Rahm Emanuel as our mayor. Thank God. I heard you say that, young man. I appreciate you. Congratulations on the effort that just happened with regards to concealed carry. I've been supportive of this for a number of years, both in the State House and the State Senate. I didn't have a chance to vote on it this time. I'd left to become a part of the executive branch of government. But I want you to know that I supported it. Let me also tell you up front candidly, I was asked in a debate in the Chicagoland area, have I applied for my concealed carry? True confession, since the law went into effect, I'm kind of busy recently. Kind of busy running for governor. I haven't had a chance to do it, but I'm looking in the eye right now. Once I have that break, in fact, I talked to the instructor from Deer Creek a little bit ago. I'm going to be applying and getting my training. And another reporter asked me last night, will you carry? I looked that reporter right in the eye and I said, you bet I will. Senator Ryder mentioned the office of governor. There is nothing more important than making sure we change the governor's office. And I will tell you one more thing. I've got a couple of my friends, in fact, they're sitting up here on the stage with me today that are running, and any one of them will be a good governor. I just happen to think I'd be a better one. But I'll tell you what, we don't need that billionaire from Chicago to go buy himself a Republican nomination for governor. What do you think? Thank you for being in the capital city. I'll be back for years 9, 10, 11, and 12, my first 4 years as your governor. Thank you very much.
This next gentleman grew up in Bloomington, Illinois, where he played football and was a champion wrestler. He has served a large part of central Illinois in both the Illinois House and Senate. Winning 98 of the 102 counties in the state, he was the Republican nominee for governor in 2010. I'm proud to introduce gubernatorial candidate, the Honorable Bill Brady.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is great to see you in Springfield once again. It's great to be with you. And thank you for your support in bringing Illinois citizens concealed carry. Give yourselves a round of applause. You know, on my lapel, I have an American flag. I wear that because I'm proud to be an American. And I'm proud to be a supporter of the Constitution of the United States of America. There's a whole host of rights in that Constitution and Bill of Rights. One that we're here today to support, which is the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Rights that we are given by our country. Rights that we must constantly defend. And I know you agree with me. We can't trust those rights to Rahm Emanuel, Pat Quinn, and Barack Obama. Am I right? Ladies and gentlemen, we need someone who will support us in the office of governor on all of our rights, and particularly the Second Amendment. I'm the only candidate for governor on this stage that has a 100% lifetime voting record with the NRA and the Illinois State Rifle Association. You either believe in the fact that law-abiding citizens ought to have the full protection of their Second Amendment, or you don't. I happen to believe that we've got enough gun laws. that we don't need any more restrictions on our Second Amendment rights in terms of gun ownership when it comes to law-abiding citizens. How about you? Now, we've got a big choice about who's going to be the representative of the Republican Party and go on to beat Pat Quinn. I'm sorry to tell you that in a recent Associated Press survey, both Bruce Rauner and my friend Kirk Dillard said that they would be open to discussing with the Democrats a limitation on gun ownership by law-abiding citizens. Dan Rutherford and Bill Brady said no, we're not going to restrict gun ownership rights on the behalf of law-abiding citizens. In fact, Kirk Dillard the other day said he thought the federal government ought to decide what assault weapons are and whether they be limited. Do you believe that Barack Obama ought to have the right to limit law-abiding citizens' gun ownership? No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to ask for your support once again. With your help, we won 98 counties of 102. And with your help, God willing, we'll win all 102 counties. Nominate me for governor. We'll go on to win and protect your Second Amendment rights. Thank you, and God bless you.
This next gentleman was born and raised in Illinois and resides in Hinsdale. He serves as Chief of Staff to former Governor Jim Edgar, first sworn in as Senator to the General Assembly in 1995 and was appointed in 2013 to serve as Assistant Senate Republican Leader. Please help me welcome gubernatorial candidate, the Honorable Kirk Dillard.
Thank you. Thank you. It is great to be here today. You know, I started reading Field and Stream when I was about 5 years old, reading my grandpa's copies, and it is great to be here with all of you today. I am State Senator Kirk Dillard, running for governor, and I'm here with my Lieutenant Governor running mate, Jill Tracy from Quincy, Illinois, who grew up in Southern Illinois. You know, we have been campaigning throughout this state up and down. And Jill Tracy and I have incredibly strong Second Amendment legislative records that we are proud of. But I bet you one thing you didn't know about Jill Tracy is she can fire a Glock pretty doggone well. And Jill is an avid hunter coming from southwestern Illinois. And then I'm married to my wife Stephanie, who grew up in Wisconsin. And long before Sarah Palin knew how to cull a moose, my wife as a little girl in Wisconsin was culling deer. And we are a proud hunting and outdoor and protector of the Second Amendment team that's running for governor. I'm very proud of the fact that I was the first sponsor in the state Senate back in the mid-1990s of concealed carry, long before it was fashionable, long before it was cool. I sponsored concealed carry. So I want to say congratulations to Richard Pearson, Don Moran, but a real special thank you and just a congratulations to two people that actually live in my Senate district or did when this started. The first is Todd Vandermeide. Todd, I can't tell you how happy I am for you. And Jim Van Opel, my longtime friend and supporter. Well done, Jim. Very well done. And to Senator Ryder and Brendan Phelps, we do things in a bipartisan way. You know, Senator Phelps is a Southern Illinois Democrat, and way to go, Brendan. I'm glad we got the ball over the line, and it's so good to have some of you get those cards in the mail over the weekend. I will also tell you, this is your day, and I thank you. Like Treasurer Rutherford, I have been with you for the last 8 or 9 years all the time. And there's no day that fills me better than when I see all of you over in the state capitol. And that's why this day is so important. You got to be vigilant. You can never go back to sleep. You still got Rahm Emanuel as the mayor of Chicago, and you got Pat Quinn in the governor's office, and those guys every day want to take away your rights. Now, I know that Senator Brady's fighting a cold and maybe the flu, but I don't know if he's read any of these surveys very well. You know, he always loves to make up our record. But I will tell you, as the Republican spokesman of the Judiciary Committee, I've been fighting an assault weapon ban and an all-gun ban as long as I've ever been a member of the legislature, and will continue to do it as your governor as well. Jill and I got the scars to prove it. But you know what? The Democrats every day want to take away your rights. And I want to tell you about our Second Amendment record, Jill's and mine, because we're proud of it. It's a track record that you can bank on, and don't get hoodwinked by these guys. You know, all of the guys running for governor are my friends. And I want to give you a couple of facts. These are not attacks, but facts. You know, Bill Brady was the only member of the state Senate that did not vote for the money to implement concealed carry. So Billy's got amnesia when it comes to his record on guns. And for those of you who had that nice surprise on Saturday or Monday morning, that wouldn't have come if Bill Brady had his way. And then the other guys touched on it. But let's talk about Bruce Rauner. Who is Bruce Rauner? The billionaire from Chicago, the man that made Rahm Emanuel rich when he left the Clinton White House, who vacations. He vacations with Rahm Emanuel. And Bruce Rauner has said that Michael Bloomberg, that mayor of New York, is one of his heroes. So I'm going to warn you right now, Bruce Rauner, Rahm Emanuel, Mayor Bloomberg, all of those guys are tied at the hips, and you cannot trust them with your Second Amendment rights. So thank you. You know, march on over to the Capitol, talk to Jill's and my colleagues, because they're not all of the mindset like we are, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you enough for doing what you do day in and day out, and I'm proudly the first sponsor of concealed carry, and I congratulate you, because it wouldn't have gotten done without all of you. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Brandon Phelps serves as a state representative of the 118th District. He is the chairperson of the Public Utilities Committee, serves on a member of many committees, including Appropriations for Higher Education, Energy, Environment, Healthcare Licenses, Labor and Commerce, Public Safety, Police and Fire, Veterans Affairs. He serves on the Executive Council of the National Assembly of Sportsmen's Caucuses and is only one of the 10 in the nation to do so. He is a consistent fighter for the rights of Illinois sportsmen, and he is the chief sponsor of the new Illinois concealed carry legislation. The Honorable Brandon W. Phelps.
Quit it. Quit it. I love you. I love you guys. You're going to make me tear up. You know how I am. Very emotional. Never did I ever think this day would come. And I'm so honored to have traveled this journey with all of you. Because if it wasn't for you all, this would have never been done. Otis McDonald, I love you. Mary Shepard, I love you. Todd Vandermeide, I love you. Rich Pearson, I love you. Jim Opel, I love you. Mike, Belinda Rowe, I love you. And everybody, I love you. This day, I never ever thought would ever come. We did it. But let me just tell you now, as the chief sponsor, the fight's not over. There are a lot of people on my side of the aisle that want to take those rights away. And it's very important to me to beat that down. And I can't do it without my Republican counterparts like Jill Tracy and Kirk Dillard. I cannot do it. I want to set the record straight on a few other things, though, because I've talked to many of you around this state. When I say the fight's not over, I mean that. I know a lot of you have expressed interest about how much the fee was. Ladies and gentlemen, at one time, the fee was going to be $1,000 a year. We got it down to $150 for 5 years. That's $30 a year for 5 years. To me, that is a cheap price to be able to protect yourself and your family. Hours. A lot of you have expressed to me, think the hours are too much. I agree with you. But at one time, it was going to be over 40 hours. We got it down to 16 with 8 for veterans, 4 for Utah, 4 for hunter safety to get that credit. Reciprocity. I've got Utah myself. I can't wait. We're going to keep fighting for that. Yes, and there's too many restrictions. But sometimes you got to crawl before you can walk. And never would I ever thought in Illinois we would see concealed carry. But ladies and gentlemen, I am glad and honored to be part of this. We got it. They can try to take it away, but they're never going to be able to do it because of people like you. So I'm with you. I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to keep fighting the fight. But I want to say one more thing. Thank you again for all what you do and for being here today. Go see those Chicago's legislators and make sure they know we're here to stay. I love you. See y'all.
This lady is the iGold coordinator. She is the spokesperson for Illinois Carry and a recipient of the Grassroots Activist of the Year award given by the Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. Ladies and gentlemen, Belinda Rowe.
For those of you that have been to iGold before, you may recognize what these are. My tactical rat tail comb self-defense tool and my tactical self-defense tongue depressor for when the state governor wanted us to gag ourselves and force ourselves to throw up in order to protect ourselves. It's some convoluted thing. I just want you to know that I am retiring these two things today. I've traded them in for my Illinois concealed carry license and a 9mm. Unfortunately, though, as all the speakers have said before, this fight is not over. There are the list of 23 prohibited places. Our fight for the right to protect ourselves and our families continues. We will still not be able to carry everywhere that we need to carry and should have a right to carry. Women all over this state will still be victims of violent crime on mass transportation, at bus stops, at train platforms, walking to and from their vehicles to take advantage of that transportation, or if that is their only transportation. City parks. Some of the most dangerous parks in our state are the city parks where the gangs take over and hold for their own territory, where they group up at night or in the afternoons, and families can't go there to enjoy the city parks. One of the places that families need most in Chicago is mass transportation and the city parks. They need to be able to carry there. Going to and from public gatherings, the library, museums, going to and from the parking lots from all those restricted places. We have legislators who want to roll the tide back and take the freedom of choice away from our churches. Mary Shepard, our friend and loved one, Mary Shepard, beaten and left for dead in her church by a paroled felon. She went to court. She won her right back to protect herself in that situation. And now Senator Dan Katowski wants to strip her of that right all over again and ban concealed carry in churches. If you get a chance today, after you visit your own legislator, feel free to drop a note or stop by Senator Dan Katowski's office and say, your churches already have the right to ban carry if they want to. Stay out of our district. Today, we want to send a message to Dan Katowski and others like him that gun-free zones are killing zones. They are fantasy lands where we draw imaginary circles around ourselves and pretend like violent criminals and the criminally and violent insane cannot get in there and hurt good, innocent people. They are those zones the very same individuals choose and select to commit their murder and their mayhem and their destruction because they know in those zones they will face the least resistance of any place in this state. Gun-free zones are killing zones. And the sooner our legislators, Speaker Madigan, President of the Senate, John Cullerton, understand that, the sooner we can put the right definition on shall not be infringed. At 3 p.m. today, 3 p.m. today, we're going to do something different. We've never done this before, but we're going to rally in the rotunda on the first floor at 3 p.m. We want as many of you to come back to the rotunda at that time. Fill up that bottom floor. If there's not enough room, go up the stairs to the next level and gather around the rail. And if you have to, go up to the next. Now, you may not be able to hear the speakers real well up there, but you've got an important role to play, and it's important for you to be there. Once we do that, we're going to send an important message at the conclusion of that rally. We want to raise the rafters with the message that gun-free zones are killing zones. We're going to do this. We're going to do this for 1 full minute, long enough to get the message across, not long enough to get thrown out. Okay? All right. So, I want to practice through that. I want you to join with me. Gun-free zones are killing zones. Gun-free zones are killing zones. Gun-free zones are killing zones. You've got it. That's beautiful. 3 o'clock in the rotunda. Meet me there.
This next gentleman was elected to the Senate in 1993 and has been a strong supporter of Second Amendment rights ever since. Please welcome the Honorable Dave Severson.
Thank you very much. It is great to join you today. I'm going to be brief because we want to hear from Todd and then get back to the Capitol and get you over to the Capitol as well. But I've enjoyed coming here every year, and it's great to have someone that represents Northern Illinois come and be here, and in fact representing an urban area like Rockford, coming here to talk to you about and thanking you for your support for what you've done over these years. I do want to give a shout out to those from Winnebago and Boone and DeKalb and Kane County that we represent, and thank you for your support of this important legislation. I'm proud to have a lifetime perfect record with the NRA and with the Illinois Rifle Association. I'm proud to work with great men like Richard and Todd, those who are fighting for you every single day down here and making a difference. Good government happens when people get involved in the process. Bad government happens when you get complacent. You're not getting complacent because you're here every year, and for that we are grateful. I just want to wrap it up and follow up with what Representative Brandon Phelps said. You know, our job will be a lot easier if we elect a pro-Second Amendment governor, elect someone who supports our issues, those like Senator Dillard and Representative Tracy. So this election day is crucial. Please get out and vote. Get your friends and neighbors to vote. This is our future. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you.
This man has been an effective lobbyist for the National Rifle Association for many years and was instrumental in the recent Illinois concealed carry legislation. Please welcome Todd Vandermeide.
Good afternoon, gun lobby. Kind of funny, last night, right around the corner from here is a little place called Saputo's. And a bunch of us got together last night, and I got to eat in the safest restaurant in Springfield. Just so happens, I think there are about 15 guns between the two tables that nobody saw. I don't know how it made some of the city guys who were in there having dinner feel that night, but I know how it felt for me. But, you know, it's kind of interesting. Here we are, 5 full days past the time that an Illinois resident opened up their mailbox and got their concealed carry license and put it in their hand and put a gun on their hip. And the streets are only covered in snow and salt. Who'd have thunk? And what we need to do is think about some of the gains that we've made. It's not a perfect bill. Some people might not even say it's a great bill. But let's look at what the other side lost last year. They lost on the issue of preemption when it comes to transporting firearms anywhere in the state. They can no longer create absurd and arcane type of rules that you have to break down the gun, and it can't be anywhere close to you in your vehicle, and it has to be in a case and all those other things. We got preemption for a number of issues, the first one being transportation. For the first time in 60 years, a Chicago resident no longer has to go down to City Hall and register any of their firearms. The work that Otis McDonald, David, and Colleen Lawson started in that lawsuit, we finished with a piece of legislation that said they cannot regulate handguns. Not that they can't say something about it, they cannot regulate, register handguns, their ammunition, and that is an exclusive jurisdiction of the state. And that stung. Not only that, but they can no more put regulations on licensees when we carry. They wanted a carve out for Chicago, they didn't get it. They wanted a carve out for Cook County, they didn't get it. They wanted special rules for those places, they didn't get it. So now, today, it's legal for anyone with a carry permit to carry their handgun in the manner they choose, concealed upon their person, in their vehicle, through the city of Chicago. And the superintendent's having a hissy fit on a regular basis. And I think it is safe to report that Superintendent Mr. McStreetlights, none of our people have shot any. But the funny thing that really seems to be driving them nuts are these little signs that you see creeping up in places saying no handgun carrying allowed. And it's just utter, I couldn't figure out what it was at first. It's a sign. You wanted these places prohibited. You should be happy that there are these places that are prohibited. That's what you want. But then I heard from one of the mom's people who talked about it in a TV interview that their small child, when they go into preschool, kept pointing to the sun and asking about the gun sign. And then it dawned on me. It's a reminder every single day, every time they go past one of these places, they lost. Every time they turn around, they have to consciously think. And they see it that it's a reminder that we won the legislative fight, we won the court fight, and now they have to work overtime to try to find ways to get other places added to the list and cajole businesses. Kind of amazing that just yesterday Staples threw them out of their corporate headquarters because they didn't want to hear their nonsense. And you've heard some of the other speakers talk about we're not done yet. No, we're not done yet because we have there are three fronts that we fight on. But the first one comes up on the 18th, and that's elections. And we've got some friends that have gone out of their way to help us and stand up for all of us in this fight this last year. And they're in some tough primaries. And it's not over our issues. It's over other issues. But when I go into that voting booth, you know, the Second Amendment is tops on my list to vote. And so we need to reelect guys like Dennis Roboletti, Ron Sandak, John Anthony, Eddie Sullivan, Jeannie Ives, and Sue Shearer. They're our friends. And now they helped us last year. They stood up for us. 30-some-odd votes in the House dealing with, you know, issues on concealed carry and every archaic and stupid idea that could be mustered out of the city of Chicago. We fought, and they fought with us. But now, between now and the 18th, they need our help. And our job and my job in protecting all of you is a lot easier when they're here to help me. And so I would ask you, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to the people that live in those districts, and make sure they get out and vote for those candidates. Now, we're not done. We're going to come back, and we filed a bunch of bills. They thought they could file bills. They saw how many bills we could file. And we're just getting warmed up here. And we're going to keep pushing back on all of these restrictions. We're going to keep pushing back on mass transit bans. We're going to keep pushing back on bans in public parks. We're going to keep pushing back on the fees, the hours of training, and all the things that they think, that we think are impediments and hurdles to the process. But then all of a sudden they decided they were going to go in a different direction. And they were going to sit there and introduce a bill to force us to register every firearm we own. And they lit a fuse here. They lit a fuse with a lot of people. But what's kind of interesting is the law of unintended consequences. Because while they thought it was cute, or let's try the Chicago-style bill, some of our brethren over in Connecticut were getting a taste of just exactly what that means. They passed a semi-auto ban in Connecticut. And they said that you could only keep your existing gun, it fit that definition, if you registered it. Funny thing happened on the way to the implementation. They estimated they needed 375,000 firearms to be registered, close to 2 million magazines. They got registrations for about 50,000 magazines and 38,000 guns. Somewhere they can't account for about 325,000 firearms that should be registered. And it's only about registration until it's about confiscation, because now we see newspapers in Connecticut calling for them to use the background check records to go door to door to force compliance upon these individuals who one day were an honest average citizen and the next day could be facing a felony and 5 years in the penitentiary. Funny thing, it's never about gun control and confiscation until all of a sudden it's about gun control and confiscation. And to those individuals, Josh Sugarman, our friends at the VPC and Coalition to Stop Gun Violence, they keep telling us that gun owners are on a declining trend. There's fewer and fewer of them. I don't know. I was the first one in my family to become a gun owner. I've got a 14-year-old son shooting practical rifle and running around with an AR-15, kicking down doors and having fun at the range. I got a 10-year-old that we're going to bring into the family, so I'm going to double what came to me. But with this, because they are our future, and what kind of drives them all nuts is that while they keep saying we're a dying breed, funny thing happened since Barack Obama took president. FOID cards went from 1.2 million to 1.67 million in the last few years. That's a 33% increase in gun owners in a state like Illinois. We're not Texas, we're not Wyoming or Arizona, but I think a 33% increase in gun owners in the state are pretty good. And what we can't get through the legislature, we'll go back to court. It seems kind of funny, the city of Chicago has paid our lawyers over $2 million in attorney's fees so far. I had the pleasure of reminding them at a city council hearing on some of their new ordinances of that fact. And I'd like to remind the aldermen that are listening again today. I'm told the fees in the Ezell case could be running into the $1 million figure that you haven't settled yet. In the case that started off as Benson, we're over $500,000. So you seem to think that you have millions of dollars of taxpayer money to fritter away. Okay, you're going to be sending our lawyers' grandchildren to Harvard to come back and fight you again. And in case they've forgotten, McDonald, Ezell, Gowder, Moore, Shepard, Benson. That is just the beginning of the roll call of Second Amendment cases we have won in the federal courts here in the state of Illinois. We're 5 for 5 at the state Supreme Court. Diggins, Aguilar, others. And there's more to come. So you can either pay attention to what the courts have said. If you want to continue to thumb the municipal nose at the courts, sooner or later they're going to get about as cranky as we are. We're not going to give up. We're not going to go away. And if you think Illinois gun owners are going to roll over and you're going to make us the next Connecticut, the next New York, or the next Maryland, we've got a big news for you. With that, God bless, and I'll see you at the Capitol.